coronavirus thingy.
I'll tell you, as good as can be expected, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
crazy. What's going
It's
on in the world today?
Well, we got a bunch of good topics to talk about. We're going to try to put some smiles on everybody's face because obviously, there's a lot of things to be kind of stressed out about, and you need to decompress. So let's get right
Absolutely.
into it, Deborah.
All right, what's
Um,
happening?
well, in Europe, they had people singing on balconies in Italy
Hmm.
to keep themselves entertained because they were so cooped up
Right.
and being in their house for so long. I even saw in the news there was people playing paddleball from one
No
balcony to
way.
another. True story.
That's fun. What a
So
great idea. Wow.
wild
Except
stuff,
for
those
when, wait a minute, except
Italians.
for when the ball falls, who goes to get it?
You know what? I
Right?
wasn't I wasn't there to figure that one out. I have no idea. But the apparently that type of a mindset has spread to New York City, which has
Right.
been absolutely ravaged by the coronavirus. I know a lot of friends
Right.
of mine who have either had it or their family
Hmm.
has been affected by it, and it's really some
Yeah.
sad stuff. But
Very sad.
the real heroes are all of the first responders and the delivery people and people of that nature that are still working during these very trying times. So what a
Right.
lot of
Right.
people in New York are doing is they took on the hand clapping. Yeah, the hand clapping to show
Hey.
support. Yeah, to
Yes.
show support to all the emergency medical
Yeah.
workers and so on and so forth. And apparently, it started out that every Friday at a certain hour, people would go out on the balcony and start
Right.
clapping to show their appreciation
Right, right.
for the
I read
people.
about that also.
Yeah.
And what had happened was, as somebody started to clap, you would think somebody from the neighborhood would yell out, "Hey, knock it off!" But they
Yeah,
didn't. They
especially in
started
New York,
clapping.
right?
Right, and
They wouldn't yell, "Hey, knock it off." They'd be like, "Hey, shut the up! What are you
well, if it was
doing?"
different times, but because of what we're seeing right now. But what was so awesome is somebody else would join in, and then somebody else, and then between the clapping, then people were getting like spoons, and they were banging their the pots and pans, and they were just it was like a big band. But also, what they were clapping for is the medical field, the EMTs, the doctors, the nurses,
Right,
basically
right,
everybody that's really like in the midst of the disease, taking care of all the sick and all that kind of
sure,
stuff. They're really putting themselves in harm's way. So,
right. But I think it
bravo for
became,
them.
I
And
think
it
it
was just an
became
awesome thing.
more, it became more of a thing for the people themselves than just for the EMTs.
Absolutely.
You can't go out and have a drink with a friend or have dinner with your family. So
Right.
what are you going to do? Well, let's go on the balcony and let's start
Clap
clapping
away.
hands, and let's have,
Yeah.
let's have our dog bark, and so on and so forth,
Yeah.
which, makes you wonder about the noise pollution issues in New York
Well,
City.
this is
It's
right,
supposed to be
right.
quiet now.
There's so many zoning laws, whether it's noise pollution or anything else. But at a time like this, part of what's been happening with this whole clapping scenario is that I guess it was like once a week on a Friday or something. Now it's almost like every night at a certain time. It's actually come full circle where now the people are getting the gratitude and the feel good vibes from doing it because they all feel connected where we're
Right,
in an unconnected type of situation, unconnected
right.
world. So it's bringing everybody together. So everybody's just like,
Well,
they almost forgot the real reason why they were doing it, but it's for everybody. So it's
well,
awesome.
yeah. Well, you were saying that the people are having hangouts now where they're hanging out on Zoom and things of that nature for happy
Yeah.
hour, right?
There's all
So
kinds of
you had one of
apps
your
and things.
one of your friends contact you to have a happy hour. Did you get all dressed up and put makeup on and so on and so forth?
Wait a minute. We did, but not the way you thought. Instead of getting dressed up, we all got in our pajamas and our slippers. So we were like bragging about who's got the best pajamas and slippers and all that with our cocktails, of course. And it was nice. There was like six of
And
us
it's
and we all started
casual.
talking. It was an app called Happy Hour or something like that, or
Right.
House Party or something. But there's a lot of different, apps because people are just trying to find a way to connect, you know?
So Debbie, instead of me walking into Chick-fil-A with my pajamas and my slippers, I can actually just hang out at home and just have my Chick-fil-A right in my
Absolutely.
bed.
Especially if you're going to get delivery, right? You're going to get delivery, you're going to be in
Now,
your pajamas.
hey, you know what? Maybe there's a bright side to this coronavirus. I don't have to see people walking around in their PJs anymore. They'll just do it at home. Listen, people, you go outside. Look, I'm not big on getting dressed up. Maybe a pair of shorts and a T-shirt, but the PJs, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you know, I remember I had
nobody wants to see your boxes. Pull them up. Pull them up.
I know people that hate whenever they see someone go out with their sweatpants on or something that looks like pajamas. But now it's like a thing because there's almost no reason to get dressed because you're not going anywhere. And if you do go out, you don't want to get dressed up just for that one little, you know, down the street and back. It's kind of
it doesn't make any sense.
But I'll tell you, you know.
But I wonder how dating apps are going to be affected by this. You know, I mean, you know, like do you stay in your PJs when you're on Tinder? I mean, I know it's swipe left, swipe right.
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. I guess if you're, what is it? Plenty of Fish is for like, you know, pajamas, and then the other one is for probably more of a relationship, if you know what I'm saying. So depending on which app you're on decides how you're going to dress for the occasion. But what I was going to say is getting back to the clapping in New York, there is a thing about noise pollution. That is a zoning a zoning violation. It's a noise ordinance. And, you know, with something like this, nobody's ever going to make a complaint. It's making everybody feel good. So again.
Well, also the other thing is, I mean, I guess most of the time it must be dead quiet now. I mean, I've watched those newsreels where they go up and down the streets of New York and all the major cities, and there's nobody out there. And I could tell you, you know, coming from New York City itself is never like that. I mean, it's filled with a bunch of people, cars, cabs honking their horns, people telling other people to F off. You know, I mean, there's a reason why they say what they say about New York.
Isn't there a curfew also? It's like they really don't want you out there.
I don't know, but they've got some pretty wild stuff happening with the coronavirus. That thing is really hitting New York pretty bad, you know. But hey, listen, you know, there's an old saying, this too shall pass, and I really firmly believe that this is going to pass, and we're going to use laughter to help speed it along. You know,
and hopefully we'll learn.
You know, the other thing that I found that was really interesting is that they found that there's other species of animals that can actually contract the coronavirus, and I found out that tigers actually can contract the coronavirus.
I heard that as well. Yeah, isn't there a guy, the Tiger King or something?
That's on Netflix. I was watching that show.
I just watched that the other night.
Yeah, pretty wild show. But apparently it's only tigers. By the way,
I didn't know that.
It's not affecting cats or kittens, so we don't have to worry about domesticated animals. There's something about tigers that's different, apparently.
Right.
So it affects tigers, but it doesn't affect pussycats. Right?
Okay,
so
I didn't
you
realize
still have
that.
your pussycat. Still have your pussycat.
Yeah. What about dogs? What about dogs?
Dogs seem to be okay too. They just hang out. They say, like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?" They're good. No problem. Woof.
Well, who knows?
But back to that Tiger King show.
Yeah,
holy smoke! That guy Joe Exotic, huh? Is he something else?
He's exotic, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy.
You know, my thing is, how do you have that in your backyard? He's in Oklahoma. Joe Exotic was in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yeah.
Right.
Well, we have him in Florida too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other one, I forget her name. The one that fed her husband to the tigers.
Yes.
She's out of Tampa.
She's in trouble.
Right? Yeah. And then the other dude is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So apparently, you could go wild anywhere.
Absolutely. It's all about the zoning and wildlife. I mean, you know, some places are zoned for agriculture, some are zoned for wildlife. I mean, you can buy a house and they'll say, you know, no livestock, you know, so you can't. So, you know, obviously if you want to have a tiger and lions and tigers and bears, you can come to Florida because we've got plenty of places.
One of each around those things. But apparently it costs a lot of money to have these animals. I mean, they eat like crazy.
Right.
Right?
And if you can't afford them, you might have to start feeding them your husbands, your wives, your kids. I mean, wherever you can find the food, apparently.
Hey, honey, let's catch a bite.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I wonder if she's still being looked at. I don't know how.
Being looked at? Oh, I thought you were going to say, I wonder if she's still feeding. Never mind.
Well,
and that guy, Joe Exotic, he,
she's going to run out of all her volunteers. She's got a bunch of volunteers.
Here's a spoiler alert, right? So she's got the volunteers, right?
Right.
And apparently she's being investigated, I guess, for feeding her husband to the tigers.
Absolutely.
And the other guy tries to kill her. I mean, this is like a soap opera of zany people.
Unbelievable. When I was watching it, I wasn't sure what I was watching. I didn't know it was a real thing. I kind of thought it was I don't know. I thought it was a movie. Then I saw this is based on a true story. But how long ago was that? Is this recent?
I was just so in awe of the whole show.
Yeah.
I don't even know the timeline. But
Crazy.
The way they did it is, I mean, they just took segments. And mind you, they make it seem as if it's really safe to have these wild cats all around you. But if you take a look at some of the characters in there, there's one guy that's missing both his legs. There's a girl that's missing her arm.
They have nothing else to lose.
and then when Joe Exotic takes his shirt off, he's got like these scars all over his chest. I mean, you got to get hazard pay. And one of these women is actually has volunteers working for free. I mean,
yeah. And then the woman that got her arm pulled off, but I think her arm came off because it got stuck in the fence. I think the fence cut it off. The tiger or the lion took her arm, but then I thought they said it was severed by the fence. But either way, I mean, it's dangerous. You can't.
Wow.
I don't care how close and related you feel to these animals. They're wild animals, which means
they're wild animals. Absolutely.
You just freak out. Maybe they hear a sound and they just change. I mean, you've seen freaky things happen.
They're not domesticated. Any way you slice it. I got to tell you, years ago, I don't remember exactly who it was, but somebody brought little baby tiger cubs and lion cubs to my gym. I used to own a gym.
Show and tell?
Yeah, I mean, this guy raised these little, cubs, they were not so little. They were the size of a small dog.
Right.
But they were little compared to the full grown version of a tiger and a lion. And they were cute. They smelled really bad. Okay, let me tell you something. Those little boogers, they might look cute, but they stank. They're stanky little things, right? They're real stanky. And anyway, so what happened is he brought these little fellas there. There was about 3 or 4 of them, and they were cute. They were adorable. You played around with them and so on and so forth. But, you just go a few months into it, and they're man killers.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what you got going on.
They can turn on you at any time.
I mean, they're not your local dog or domesticated cat.
No.
It's not what they're all about. So pretty wild stuff. So I think we're kind of protected from the tigers transmitting the coronavirus to people, I think.
Well, I don't have any neighbors that have that type of backyard, so I'm not really worried about it too much.
You don't want to contact Joe Exotic's colleagues and get one for yourself?
No, even if I was going to go to visit, I'm not even sure how safe it is over there. So. But anyways, if you want some wildlife, definitely come to Florida. We've got alligators. We've got all kinds of adventure places to go see all the wildlife.
That's funny that you mentioned that. There's a place in Miami where you can go jogging, and as you jog through the park, there's actually alligators all over the place. Yeah. People bicycle, they jog, and the alligators are right there. Now, I don't know why you'd want to jog or bicycle right where there's alligators.
Not to mention it's 100 degrees out.
But different strokes for different folks, right?
Well, if you go down Alligator Alley to go to see the alligators, that's where they all are. Going towards like Naples, there are signs for not leopards, like lynx crossing. I don't know, one of those big cats. Like a sign saying that they're crossing. So like keep your eyes open. I'm thinking, really? Like they're out there.
Like mountain lions or something like that?
Well, oh my God, I can't think. I don't know if it's one of those, smaller cats.
Yeah, we've got a lot
you
We got a
know,
lot of
beware of
wildlife
deer.
down here. A lot of
Yeah, it's
wildlife down
crazy.
here, no
Yeah.
question about it. I haven't
So-
seen any wild cats or anything like that. I've definitely seen alligators.
Yeah.
But it's not like something that you see every single day. I mean,
Right,
it's
right.
not like you're walking down the street and there goes, the alligator and Tony the tiger's around the corner hanging out and getting some popcorn. It's not like that.
Crazy.
But I did.
So what else? So what else is happening on the Corona front? Anything else crazy that you've heard? I heard about Atlantic City. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure.
What'd you hear about Atlantic City?
Yeah. Let me tell you about the Atlantic City situation. So, with Atlantic City,
because you're a gambler, right? Or no?
Well, I used to gamble years ago. I played some Texas Hold'em, some craps, and stuff like that. I had some tournaments in poker and so on and so forth, and won a couple of them. Yeah, back in the day, but not anymore. But Atlantic City is a very interesting place. Let me tell you a little story about what's going on in Atlantic City, and also a little bit about the history in Atlantic City. So back in the 70s, when I was a wee little fella, there was a movement to open casinos on the East Coast, because back then the only place where it was legal to go to a casino was in Nevada, and the only spot to really go and gamble was Vegas, unless you went to Lake Tahoe, or you went to other parts of Nevada where they also had gambling. So a lot of people wanted to open up a casino on the East Coast. And one of the areas that they looked to open up the casinos in was in New York City. And they were actually thinking about bringing it to the Rockaway Beach area, which is where I grew up.
Right.
And the other area was Atlantic City. Well, to make a long story short, obviously, New York State kiboshed the opening of the casinos in the Rockaways, so that never happened. And Atlantic City ended up becoming Atlantic City, the East Coast gambling mecca. All right. And the way Atlantic City is set up is there's a beach side and there's a bay side. And the beach side is basically a boardwalk which has been regentrified. And very, very beautiful. And they've cleaned up the beach. The beach is absolutely exquisite. Yeah. And then up and down the boardwalk, there's hotels and casinos.
I wonder how they're doing now with the coronavirus. That must be all closed down by now.
I guess they're probably shut down, right?
Yeah,
they should shut down because they're not deemed to be essential services. The other side of Atlantic City, and this is going to lead to the story, the other side of Atlantic City is the Bay side, which has about 3 casinos. There's Harrah's, there's Borgata, and there's some other casino over there. And that's like a little bit more quiet area. And it's but very pretty also. And the casinos are really very nice. But these casinos are like self-contained, right? So you've got these wonderful casinos. Then you got a pretty rundown neighborhood. And then you have pockets of these areas that are zoned a certain way. How should I put it? Little seedy, maybe? Massage parlors, the sex shops, and so on and so forth. Which leads us to the next story about taboo. So apparently, in Atlantic City, there is a sex shop where you can get your lingerie, your toys. Oh, yes, and you can have viewing of videos, sex videos, or live peep shows. Very important.
Get out,
important stuff. And apparently, Taboo decided that even though there was a statewide order or local order to shut down non-essential businesses, they determined that they themselves were essential to the community.
They thought they were,
and they stayed open, and they kept on providing the population with sex toys, lingerie, videos, and peep shows.
That's
apparently, the city of Atlantic City did not appreciate that, because the city felt that it wasn't essential. So they had this big debate. I don't know if they went to court, but can you imagine going to court? Your Honor, people have to have their dildos. They have to.
Not to mention that the residential
KY jelly. It's necessary.
And the residential people that are right there, what else are they doing? They can just go right now right next
Yeah,
door,
you
knock
put
on
your
the door and say,
pajamas on
hey.
and your slippers and you go right to the sex shop. I mean, come on, what's wrong with that? Nothing.
Oh my God.
Nothing.
Well, I'll tell
Everybody
you,
else puts their PJs and goes outside. Why not go to a sex shop? I'm with
nothing
Taboo.
like
Whoa.
nothing like getting a variance in your zoning. I'll tell you. Wow, that's crazy.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so there was this big debate with Taboo and Atlantic
So they're not.
City.
So did they say that they're essential or they're not essential? Did they deem that
they
they're definitely
said that
not?
they were essential and that they needed to stay open. How
They
about
said
that?
But
Yeah.
what did the state? The state did too.
Well, the city of Atlantic City disagreed, and
Well,
they basically shut them down apparently and gave them a fine. And apparently, the community was in an uproar. They said, "Hey, how could you do this? We need this. This is important."
I guess they're gonna have to start clapping instead of getting the clap.
You know what, Debbie?
clapper.
Sometimes clapping just doesn't do it. You know what I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean?
gotta do something.
But
oh my God.
you know, and I mean, I guess they could have compromised, Debbie. I mean, maybe they can have the live sex show artists, if you will. Maybe put a mask on. I mean, I don't know, gloves.
Well,
I don't know.
You know, I'll tell you, because of the coronavirus, it is a scary thing. People are losing money. I mean, listen, if you can get away with keeping your business open, regardless of what kind of business it is, I can see people trying to. But, you know, I got to say, it's funny how when times are bad and things are tough, there's always humor and there's always silliness that kind of comes about, you know, everything.
Yeah, sure.
Al Yankovic, I'd love to hear one of his songs.
Weird Al Yankovic,
because he's always doing a paradigm of something, and he always, you know, makes up these crazy songs.
Parodies, right?
Parodies. Have you ever heard anything about?
Yeah, like he did the parody of Michael Jackson with "Beat It," right? The song.
Right.
Well, he made the parody "Eat It." Right.
Yeah.
Very funny stuff. Now it might be inappropriate right now to come up with a parody because of all the stuff that's happening, and you know, a lot of people are losing their lives. They're struggling to stay alive, and a lot of people are trying to, you know, protect themselves and their families from getting this horrendous virus. But people always find a way to introduce humor, even in sad situations, to help cope with this insanity. So my question is, will Weird Al Yankovic write a song? I want you guys to comment. Let me know, yes, he will, or no, he won't. And also, what would the title of the song be? Write the title of the song in the comments. I want to check that out. And you know what? Maybe next time we're on, we'll talk about the different titles and maybe come up with some lyrics.
Maybe we'll play the song
jingle.
If he comes up with one.
Yeah, man. Because I know that what was happening a few months ago, before this coronavirus really started to gain main stage, is people were putting out memes on social media about the coronavirus. So you had a bottle of Heineken, a bunch of bottles of Heineken with face masks, and the coronavirus was off in the Corona beer. In the corner, and people were laughing about this because they didn't understand the severity of what this pandemic was, because it wasn't at the height of it. Right? So people were already using humor to try to handle this stuff. You know what I mean? Well, I think somebody like Weird Al Yankovic could do a public service announcement that really would be for the benefit of society, and maybe also lighten the mood a little bit, because we're all under so much stress, right? I mean,
I got to tell you, yesterday I was looking online for just funny stuff, because again, it's, you know, it's very depressing to be home all the time. And even if you're going outside, you just, you know, for a short time, whatever, it's not normal. It's not what we're used to. So I got to tell you, there were so many funny jokes and so many funny memes, and I was laughing hysterical. And I don't know if it's because I haven't laughed like that in a long time, and because of the circumstances.
Or maybe you had cabin fever.
I just needed to laugh. But it was hysterical. I mean, everything that I saw was, you know, one thing was funnier than the other. And apparently I must have thought it was funny than it actually was. It was to the point where I'm telling my daughter, you know, what it was that I was laughing, but I was laughing hysterical. My stomach was killing me. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. And she just looked at me like, it's not that funny, Mom. It really isn't. And I thought, but it is. But it was because I thought it was. But one of the things was, it was
You've been cooped up too long, Deborah. You've been cooped up too long.
Honest to God. It was like a role reversal. So, you know, remember, like when we were kids, you know, your parents would yell at you, go outside, go outside. It's like now everybody's yelling at their parents. Mom, Dad, get in the house. Don't go outside. You can't go outside.
Put your mask on. What are you doing? Oh. I got to tell you all the time, get in the house.
Oh my God,
You're not
so-
supposed to socialize.
so crazy.
What are you doing?
And then I had another.
It's the revenge of the
friend.
kids, right? Revenge of the kids.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But it's like a role reversal, you know? So the other day, one of my friends said, wow, they're like, wow, what a freaking year I had last week. And I'm thinking, that was the funniest thing. It was like, you don't even know what day it is or how much time has gone by. You
It's
know?
just becoming a big blur, right?
It really is. And it was funny because I said to somebody, hey, I texted, happy Friday. And they're like, who gives a shit? Like, who cares? And I didn't even know today was Friday. Like, who knows?
So, and also what you have right now is you also have a lot of people trying to figure out how to be entrepreneurs with this type of a climate and
Absolutely,
to capitalize
yeah.
on this. So I personally am going to start buying money in companies that create diapers because I anticipate there's going to be a ton of babies being born in about
my God,
9 or
yeah.
10 months. Can you imagine? I mean, what else can you do? You watch
I thought
TV
you
about
meant
the news.
I thought you meant diapers because we were running out of toilet paper. I'm sorry, you're talking about the new births.
No,
Okay, sorry.
yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, think about this. What do you got going on? You're watching TV, you're watching Netflix, you're going to the fridge and
Watching
you're
each
eating all the
other.
food from the fruit, right? And then maybe you're doing a little bit of bada bing,
Yeah.
you know, and you're putting the magic sauce together. There you go. And in 9 months, 10 months, you got a little babushka there, you know.
That's what they're
I
saying.
mean, hey, it happens, you know. I mean,
It happens.
It's just the
What
way
else
it
are you gonna
goes.
do?
But I'm thinking that this might be the next baby boom. Right?
I
There
think
you
so.
go. So
Yeah.
if you invest in some diapers and maybe a little Gerber baby food, I mean, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, some Tylenol.
Tylenol. Yeah, there you go.
Because with babies come headaches and other things.
What do they call the little thing that the kid sucks on? The Nook?
A pacifier?
Yeah, but they call it a Nookie or something like that.
Not in my
Or a little
world.
bit of Nookie. I don't know. Something
No,
like that.
a little bit of nookie is what got you into having the baby. That's what that. Yeah,
My
that's how you
bad.
got there.
I
Yeah, whole
always
different
get
thing.
confused with that. Deborah. I
Whole
always get
different
confused with it.
vocabulary.
I don't know. But I like the idea of any of the jokes. Were there other jokes that came in as well?
It's just so many. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they, you know, it was just really funny how, you know, certain things are now
Yeah.
the norm where they weren't before.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Well,
it was
you
just
know
so
what?
funny. But I laughed so hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try to get some more of these jokes every single week until this nonsense with this virus is over. Make you laugh, make you giggle, make you smile,
Absolutely.
make
You
you
have to.
smile a little bit, right?
You have to.
And
or
maybe
else.
you can get a little nookie for the baby and a little nookie for yourself. Why not?
Not
What's
for the
wrong with that?
baby. Not for the baby.
Well, the nookie, you know, a little, I don't know. What,
Again,
they
it's
used
not
to
called
call
nookie.
it something. What do they call it?
No.
The kid would suck on it. It's not just a pacifier.
It's a
Darling, will you
pacifier.
please give me the pacifier for the
It's
baby?
the pacifier.
Yeah, but they used to
Nookie
call
is
it
what
a
you
bing,
have that makes
a bing,
babies.
a bing,
Huh?
a bing,
Beanie.
bing,
Beanie.
a
Beanies.
beanie.
Don't ever say nookie and a baby in the same sentence because that's wrong. That's very wrong.
Flag on the play. 30-yard penalty.
Flag on the
Declined.
play. For sure.
All right,
Yeah.
so I think that's it for this episode. This is my co-host, the one and
Deborah
only,
Face, your face for real estate.
and Coach Nick, and this is the end of the Real Deal Property Sharks episode for this week, and we are out of here. Peace.
Have
We
a good
love
one.
you.
Be safe, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have
Bye.
a good one. See ya.